We welcome you to the final game of the 2025 edition of Tennessee versus Kentucky Future Stars. Great set of close games for the 6th and 7th grade editions, and now the 8th graders who are knocking on the doorstep of getting into high school will showcase their talent and their skills here in the northwest side of Tennessee. Welcome to everyone watching around the world. I'm Spencer Thompson alongside Blake Biggs, proud to be with you in Martin, Tennessee. Got to call a good first game with the 6th graders, Blake, and 7th grade James and Eli had good competition to see. Should be interesting when we get to this final matchup for the day.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I was saying, earlier, Spence, watching the 7th grade games, they really, middle schoolers compared, now to 10 years ago, it really isn't fair. Like, these kids are bigger, these kids are faster, these kids are stronger. I can just tell that a difference from the 7th grade game. I'm real excited for this one, actually, because it's, again, like, they're knocking on the steps of high school. They're right there. This should be a fun little game we have on our hands, Spence.
Several players that we've been told have got already in 8th grade have gotten offers from
awesome.
colleges at this early on, which it shows the amount of not only confidence that colleges have in them playing this early on in their careers, but it also shows the kind of great talent that we'll have on this field in the 8th grade scene.
Yeah, no, and Spence, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if, the last game we were looking at, the 7th grade game, where colleges are looking at them. I'm pretty sure NCAA rule, the earliest you can offer is 8th grade. So, again, great talent in the last game, as we saw. It was an extremely close game, but, this is proven talent right here. Step above, like James said last broadcast, a step above. This is the next level. And speaking of next level, these guys about to take the next level. And if your high school has one of these players coming in, watch out. Because these guys they'll make an immediate impact for sure. So I'm pretty excited. See what we got here on hand, Spence.
Tennessee won the toss, elected to defer, so Kentucky's Future Stars will receive the ball first. One of the things when glancing through a lot of the rosters last night with Eli is that you have a lot of players who are 6 foot or higher. Some of them on that edge of like 5'11" and 5'10", which now we still saw some other players in the 6th and 7th grade scene who were shorter, but they could still play really well. But you've got a lot of these players who are already at what you would call NFL builds.
Yeah, and it's kind of scary to think about. Okay, yeah, this kid's a 6'3", he's 6'3", he's 230, lineman. It's like, okay, you don't think that's like the biggest. Oh no, he's in 8th grade and he's still got more to grow. Is the thing. That's scary. And he's still kind of maturing into his body, still going to the weight room, still, eating, growing. It's just, it's like you're watching. It's like little play reference. It's like you're watching the background. It's like, okay, yeah, the origin of a prior movie.
And great point that you brought up about. No, it's a great point you brought up about it as well, the weight room side, because you remember all those summers and all those weight training sessions in the early spring leading all the way up to the season. It's not just the boys of fall; it's the boys of 365 if you do it right. And away we go from Graham Stadium for the final game in 2025 of this Future Stars. And across midfield, several tackles missed, and a great start for Kentucky, as that's a good carry by Jet Reynolds from Bowling Green Junior High.
Yeah, a little rowdy on the sideline. Kentucky's, they're trying to come out. It's 2-0 series in favor of Tennessee, but yeah, here's a replay right here. Gets down the sideline. That was up. Yeah, no, he hugged it perfectly, and got a good run on the outside. But as I was saying, Kentucky's just trying to, they're trying to close it out on a good note. Tennessee 2-0 in the series. I don't think that necessarily plays like a huge factor, but yeah, they're just wanting to end. They're wanting to end the day off right.
Cooper Scott will start out on the quarterback side, 6'8" grader from Pikeville, pitched on the backside. That looks like it's Javian Moe from Bate Middle School to carry it to the 25-yard line, gain of 5.
Yeah, and that's a solid run outside right there. We'll see if we can get the replay on that. Oh, no replay. But, yeah, solid run outside right there. Followed his blockers real well. Moved upfield, north to south, real north to south runner, and got a good gain right there. So
it's a good run by Javion Mew, and it was tackled by Antonio Huntsman for a gain of 5 yards. Zarik Burton will carry the ball past the line of scrimmage for a gain of 2, stopped by Vols defense as tackle gets in from Cash Parker.
Yeah, great tackle right there by Cash Parker. Really just closed down the play, stopped him from advancing the play any further. We'll see the replay right here if you maybe your head's a little bit spent. Yeah, gets upfield and cuts a little bit too much inside, but still great run overall, and sets his offense up in really good position to either convert or score.
Third and 3. Handoff again to Mew. He's got a first down. Javion Mew on the carry again as he's brought down Antonio Huntsman. But chains moved for a first down in the red zone.
Yeah, nothing new with Mew right there. Great run of the gut right there. I'm sorry. I know. Sorry. I had to do it once, Spencer. I had to do it once.
I approve of that. Yeah, you got the approval of James on that one at least. But first and 10 inside the red zone at the 17. Leave a lot of options there with that formation as Enzo Swanson tries to carry it forward, but shut down by Morton.
Yeah, great tackle right there by the defensive lineman. I mean, just as a unit, they just swarmed in the backfield. Great way to read the gap, and great way to finish the play right there. Great tackle on the running back. That's what you call Hornet football, not necessarily as a mascot. Yeah, it's like you swarm. It's like you swarm to the ball like hornets.
Brady also tag teamed on that tackle as a loss of a yard there for 2nd and 11. This time with the carry, Leighton Wade pushes through for gain of about 5 or 6. Wade from College View Middle School.
Yeah, great push right there by Wade. This Kentucky offense, I'm kind of curious when they're going to start passing it more, but I mean, why even bother? They've been powering it up the middle, and it seemed to work so far. Let's see how this Tennessee defense responds.
12-minute quarters to simulate a regular high school football game in this 8th grade Future Stars competition. The rest of the games have been sequential in that circumstance as we'll move it back 5 yards to essentially negate the gain that happened on the previous play.
Yeah, close call right there on the line. Unfortunately, hate to have something happen like that on 3rd down, but yeah, just false start. That may break the drive here, Spence. You hate to see it because they were doing so well with powering up the gut and running the ball very efficiently, but it's just penalties like that. It's been breaking these Kentucky teams all throughout the day.
Third and 10, backfield Ethan Jones, toss right side, caught. Enzo Swanson will go to the sticks, forced out of bounds by Morton.
Yeah, great play right there. He was super shifty on that. We'll see if we can get a replay right here. Yeah, gets close to the sideline, puts a little stiff arm out, and he turns that back and, takes the hit like a champ right there. That's real physical play towards the end.
Spotted at the 10-yard line by the official. Looked like he tried to cut forward towards the line to gain. And gets us to a 4th and 3. Wade with the carry. He'll get tripped up, and this will force the ball to go into the hands of the Tennessee offense.
Yeah, and Kentucky, that's uncharacteristic for Kentucky right there. They've been pounding it really well, and they just cannot convert on the 4th down run right there. Looked like a zone read, but just could not find the hole. The defense filled it up in time, and good stop. I mean, that's a good stop right there for Tennessee. I mean, great early drive by Kentucky, but you got to convert that, and yeah, it's just unfortunate.
Renterio Hardaway forcing the turnover on downs. Tennessee will start out their first offensive drive of this game on the 11-yard line. It's a handoff up the middle, trying to bounce through a couple of tackles. We'll get down to about the 17-yard line. A good carry by Joshua Miller, 6'3", from Perry Middle School.
Yeah, and honestly, kudos to the running back right there for getting the gain that he did. I mean, that's a solid 6-7 yard gain. And the line pretty much collapsed on him right there, and he was able, the run after the carry, able to get upfield through physical contact.
Going up the middle for another rush, trying to push through. Stopped at about the 18-yard line. 2 yards to gain as Braxton Swift shuts the play down.
Yeah, out of the unbalanced formation right there, kind of like a UNLV go-go look. They run it up the gut. We'll see if we can get a replay right here. Oh, it's slowed down too. Okay. Yeah, physical hit right there and just bodies him. Great physical hit right there. That linebacker came flying out of that right side.
2 yards to gain here for Tennessee. Looking for the toss, gets the catch off. A little bit bobbled at first. Won't be for the first down as a helmet flies off. 4th and short coming up. That was a good catch by Braden Ford from Bate Middle School.
Spence, if these first 2 drives are foreshadowing for the rest of this game, we're in for a physical brand of football.
Interesting to see. We've only had, I think the only punts we had were in the second game, and about 2 or 3 of them throughout the course of the contest. Not a single punt in that 6th graders game.
Mm-hmm.
And looking like that'll be the trend here on the 8th grade side, even being deep in their own territory. And a turnover on downs forced, a tackle for loss in the backfield, shut down there by Harley Go.
Yeah, right there out the doubled look, right side. They try to run it, didn't get anything in return, and that's turnover. That puts Kentucky right back where they left off from last time with a fresh set of downs. So, wonder what they strike up here, Spence.
New life for Kentucky's offense here, starting not similarly to where their drive ended in the red zone at about the 18. First and 10, quick toss, incomplete. Looked like a miscommunication on the route. Perry with the toss on the right side.
Yeah, right there, offset single back, just could not get his receiver to come back to the ball in time. It was just floated a little bit short and resulted in a flat play.
Final game of this year's Future Stars contest between Tennessee and Kentucky. Talking with some of the event organizers, I mentioned it was difficult during the COVID times to have this event on a college campus, as Perry will get the toss towards the end zone. Touchdown! Did he tiptoe in? They say no. They say he's out of bounds.
Oh, we're going to need to see the replay on that one right here. Look at this, Spence.
Jalen McCown Carter, the intended receiver. I don't think we'll get it from this angle, but great effort regardless. Yeah, you can clearly see he's on the other side of the boundary there.
Man. But, Spence, can we talk about that throw? I mean, it was a great catch. He almost put that perfect. He pointed that up high, right over the cornerback's head. Excuse me, not quarterbacks. Right over his head. Perfect position for the receiver to catch it just a little bit outside.
And Perry 5'8" from the Pioneer Football Club. It's really been a great showing on the quarterback side throughout the day as well. Here's Perry under pressure on third down. He's going to lose several yards and go outside the red zone. So now a 4th down and long coming up for Kentucky.
Yeah, and again, Spence, kind of same situation that Kentucky faced last time. You get a decent chunk or you get decent position to score, and they just can't move it. It's like it's a mental block within the red zone. So hopefully they break it here, Spence.
They got 12 yards they have to gain. After that, they could try to go straight for the end zone on this one. 4th down. Perry will just dart across the middle. It is a catch, but I don't think he got to the line to gain, unless it's maybe a generous spot. Line to gain was about the 9 or 8 yard line.
Yeah, they're calling it Tennessee ball.
Yep, short.
Big orange ball.
Short by about a yard. Again, I don't think we're going to see any measurements throughout the day. We haven't seen it throughout the first 2 games, but one of those that look close, and starting from the 10-yard line is where Tennessee will be. Tennessee, again, neither team finding a way to score here. It also feels like a very different pace from the other games where it's mostly been drives quickly going down the field throughout the day. And motion on the right side. A good catch there from Cruz Bunton. He'll get over to the line of scrimmage, and it'll force a 2nd and 10.
Yeah, decent motion play right there. They tried to set up the screen, but, the defense was all over that. They sniffed it out very quickly. Good defense right there, Big Blue.
Good amount of shade here in UT Martin. Toss left side, just outside his intended target. Looked like it was Irving Fullilove who was intended for the reception there. Beg your pardon, that was Nukese Minor, the receiver.
Yes, Spence, and just high pointed it a little bit. Just couldn't get it to his receiver. Just gotta work on positioning that ball a little bit lower, because he can't jump up like that last high ball and get it every single time. He's only human.
Good to see the fans from the Bluegrass State coming out to support all their players. As Tennessee is going to call their first time out of the game and first of the first half. 4:08 left to go until the end of this first quarter. Still scoreless here in Martin. Tennessee with a chance to think it over. Ball snapped on a 3rd and 9. Quick toss. going to about the 20-yard line there on the collision. And
A little bit of laundry out there, Spence.
yeah, we have some laundry, a bit of pushing and shoving after the play.
Yeah, might have been some words exchanged between the two teams right then and there. I know, the rivalry between the tin can line can get a little heated, but yeah, the tin can line. You never heard of that?
Flags thrown there, waiting for the official word from Whitecap. Yeah, personal fouls. They'll call it on Kentucky. Okay, offsetting penalties for the personal fouls. Still a first down on the 22-yard line after the play. Stinson with the carry. He'll get stopped at the 20. Loss of 2. He'll actually shove forward for a yard, but still a loss of 1 on the play, 2nd and 11.
Yeah, Spence, and Tennessee's trying to space out a little bit, trying to get the plays in space and, just spreading out this defense, but it's not working. They're sniffing them out pretty well. They're playing their zone very well, and, it's resulted in a long, slow, tedious drive. Now they're at a 2nd and long and not in great position. I know they're out, 3 strong wide in 1 week, but
Kentucky getting a chance to think it over on their own as well. Their first time out of this first half. Both teams, 2 timeouts remaining, 3:21 left to go in the opening frame. Toss, right side, catch, immediately met by several defensemen for Kentucky. And you could tell players really enjoyed getting that stop there on C.J. Briggs.
yeah, Spence, you can tell the energy right now is on the Big Blue sideline. They got a lot of momentum. They got a lot of energy, a lot of presence on defense. They're imposing their will on this Tennessee offense so far.
And maybe that pressure getting to him a little bit with the high snap, but a flag down as likely an illegal substitution, and that is going to be the signal. So lucky break there with the high snap. And then last play with the stoppage, Zaid Charasika making the tackle, the 5'7" from the Linden Lightning.
That's an interesting name. Charcita?
Charasika.
Charcika, okay.
3rd down, toss left side. The man tripped up on the defensive side. Dominique Patterson was in coverage. Could have been gone if the receiver had cut up and gone forward as he's hobbling back over to the sideline. And with him going backwards, it's a 4th down. That is Dasani Molden, who is going over to the medical tent.
Yeah, and that's something in high school that will get worked out. First thing, receiver camp, first thing I learned to do was catch, turn the shoulder, and go. You got to go north to south. You want to get the yards. He had the forward progression he needed to, get his team into 4th and short, but didn't go for it.
4th down, going for it, and looking for some space here to try and get to the line to gain. Gets down to about the 32, and looks like with the spot they will move the chains for a first down. Got to the 33.
Yeah, and solid run right there to the outside. Kind of kind of going in space a little bit. They had to go real wide for that one right there. They cut it out. It looked a little bit short, but the Braves are going to be a little gracious on that one. First down, Big Orange.
If I'm not mistaken, that's only the third or fourth first down that we've seen in the game so far.
Today, yeah. Or in the game, yeah.
From the 33, quick toss incomplete. Pass intended for C.J. Briggs.
Yeah, I think Briggs just, heard the footsteps, coming to his door. And, he had two downhill linebackers coming straight at him. And he just, got cold hands, and he made a business decision and didn't want to hurt his business, so to speak.
Kind of weird to get cold hands with the hot temperatures outside.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to get cold hands. It's like really hot today.
92 degrees, and that turf adds about 10 degrees. Direct snap there. Carrying on the left side, that is Maurice Smith, who gets a huge gain across midfield down to about the 40.
Yeah, and speaking hot, feed it to the hot hand right there. Great run to the outside, cuts it up the middle. We'll see if we can get the replay. Yeah, great outside run right there. Just cuts the outside shoulder of the tackle. Physical run towards the end. Gets almost all the way to the 40. Mark short right around the 39. Puts Tennessee in a great position after, seemingly being in quicksand, not being able to move on offense.
New set of downs on the 42-yard line in Kentucky's territory. Final 25 seconds winding down in this opening quarter. Waiting for a play call, maybe an audible. Almost looked like they were going to try to wind it down, but they opt for the rush, as this will go to about the 37-yard line, and that is going to take us to the end of the first quarter. No score after that carry there from Stinson, as Tennessee is driving heading into the second. Great shot of the skies around here in UT Martin. Lovely day for football out here. Again, remember with the turf field, it adds another 10 degrees. So with it being 92, it probably feels like 100-something on the surface. Shows again to the incredible skill and endurance of these athletes here on the field. Second down and 5 from the 37-yard line. There's a handoff over to Bunton. Carry it up for a handful of yards, just short of the line to gain.
Yeah, great physical tackle right there. Running back looks a little bit shaken up on that play. He may come out on that, but still great run, great physical tackle right there. Again, Spence, like I said, with the way this game is looking, it should be a physical fist fight of some sort. Not actual fist fight, but speaking metaphorically, Spence.
little bit of a breeze picking up, too. You wonder if either of these teams have a field goal kicker. Certainly with Tennessee, if they have one, it favors them with the wind going in favor of their direction. Pitch on the backside, a wide open space, and the first score of the game is going to be for Tennessee, and it's going to be a Jamion Stinson who will get into the end zone.
Yeah, great way to read the field at the next level. Just sees the inside's not available, so he goes outside, hugs the sideline. See right there, and just turns on the burners all the way to the crib. Touchdown, Tennessee.
6 points on the board within the first 56 seconds of the second quarter. And the question now comes, are they on the two-point conversion game, or do they have anyone at their disposal to try and send it through the uprights? And it looks like they do go with the two-point conversion strategy.
And Spence, I'm getting a note over here, number 33, who scored on that. He played varsity as an 8th grader.
Impressive stuff. Trying to go forward toward the end zone was Cullen Hayden, but it stopped several yards short. Two-point conversion attempt, no good. 6-0, Tennessee leading over Kentucky. Second kickoff of the game coming up. Haven't even had a punt in this one. Been back and forth on turnovers on downs. Now we'll see if Kentucky can match first score of the game from Tennessee Future Stars. Booted away by Phillip Vaughn. And picked up at about the 10-yard line for the return. Stopped at the 23.
Man, that was a solid hit right there. You said that was number – oh, he was stopped at the 23. What's the number on that?
That was David Lawless.
David Lawless. Yeah, that was a great hit right there. The returner started to get momentum right there, but, you know, Lawless came in flying and just lowered that shoulder, delivered a big hit right there. Stop what could have been a really good kick return right there.
Both teams have 2 timeouts. Plenty of time left to go here in this second quarter. Kentucky will start this drive on their own 23-yard line. And as is the case with most of these Future Stars games, you have such a deep roster they like to rotate between different players, as the new running back in the backfield gets immediately swallowed up by the defensive line, as that was Enzo Swanson trying to go forward and was swallowed up by several linemen for Tennessee.
Yeah, they just lined up in the Buckeye right there. They tried to do a little sweep to the outside, just didn't work. Their guy came off the edge, and the defensive tackle just came crashing through the A-gap and just swallowed him whole.
Now in for Kentucky, Austin Jacobson from Silver Creek Middle School at 6'1". Jacobson will have options. And whistle's blown. Looks like a false start. Or they're actually calling encroachment on the defense. Benefit for Kentucky to move it up 5 yards.
Yeah, it looked like 17. The cornerback right there started to get a little jumpy, but may have been on the line right there. I'm looking at that far right lineman. Is that 20? I can't read his number from here. He's got his hands over his jersey, but 22. Okay.
Second down. Quick toss in triple coverage, incomplete. Pass intended for Everest Whitaker from Southern Pulaski Middle.
Yeah, and just they try to throw in the zone. They played a little cover 2, cover 3 right there, and just try to fire it in, try to fit it in. Just too late. Just the coverage was right there. Great defensive play call, and great play by the defensive backs right there to cover that up. And now they're kind of staring at a difficult third and long here, Spence, or third and medium, so to speak.
Cooper Scott steps in at the quarterback side, gives it off to Burton from Bowling Green Junior High. And another one of these fourth and out situations, but you wonder if the strategy on both sides is just to not punt at all and to continue to try. But as you see, there's a whole formation change, so it looks like Kentucky will punt this time.
Yeah, Kentucky's playing the long ball. They're playing the long game right now. Just hopefully get a good punt off. Surely goodness, he's playing in the All-Star game. He's probably got a pretty good leg on him. They trust him to do it. They trust their defense to hold up the Tennessee offense. I think it's a smart move. I'm just curious to see how far this punt goes. We saw a punt earlier in the 7th grade game that was near perfect earlier.
Decent punt past midfield, about 30 yards, as this return will maybe go about 30 yards itself. Down the sideline, a good return from Asher Whitfield, who will get it down inside the red zone at the 15, maybe the 16.
Yeah, Spence, it just looked like it was still a powerful punt, but it still looked like he didn't quite get a hold of it. Now on the return, he follows his blockers to the left side. Right side's just swallowed up, and he just hugs that sideline. Great gain right there. Goes down at around the 15.
Tennessee already up by 6 with great field advantage to potentially go up by 2 scores here. Only 16 yards to get to the end zone. An interesting strategy they're taking. Of waiting until everyone gets in formation to call the play. As Stinson to the left. And movement there, false start.
Yeah, it just looks like a miscommunication on the snap. The guys in motion went a little too quick, and the tackles on both sides thought it had been snapped before, Spence.
That's a movement there from Hudson and Gonzalez. First and 15 from the 21. Deep toss towards the end zone, left side. In coverage, manages to get the reception. Perfectly placed by Cullen Hayden, and a great reception by C.J. Briggs for the touchdown.
Yeah, that's a fantastic catch right there by C.J. Briggs. Just goes up. Let's see if we can get the replay right here. He goes in motion. Or not C.J., sorry, other guy. Yeah, that's a great 50-50 ball right there that he goes up and kind of wins. The cornerback may have gotten away with a little bit of PI, but fantastic ball and fantastic catch by Mr. Briggs.
Another great look at the replay. Good pass in double coverage. Pulled it in 12-0 at the 8:14 mark in the second. And so far, it's been all Tennessee in the Future Stars contest today. Two-point conversion attempt here, right side. Trying to go for the toss, incomplete. There's a flag down around the line of scrimmage. Holding call on the offense, and they will decline it there. 12-0, 8:14 left to go in this first half. Tennessee leading over Kentucky. A good drive for Tennessee that mostly set up by a great punt return inside the 20. This gets booted by Vaughn. Short kick. Return attempted by Leighton Wade. We'll get down to about the 45. Now, that seemed to be the trend in most of these games, other than like the first game. It was mostly Tennessee was driving down and scoring on their drives. Kentucky just couldn't quite get past midfield point, and seemed to be the same trend here as in the sixth grade game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And special teams is also playing a big factor into it. You know, if you don't have good positioning off the special teams, your special teams has to be on par if you want to have good positioning, and have good positioning, you know, means scoring more, and obviously scoring means winning more. I mean, that's, you know, basic math, Spence, but yeah, it's just going to come down to special teams, Spence. Is what it boils down to ultimately.
Here's Scott with the handoff. Trying to carry it again is...
Oh, he's still up. Oh, they're going to blow it dead.
Yeah, ruled dead on the carry there for Javian.
See the replay right here. He just tries to bounce off his lineman. That defensive line, I will say, that defensive line is strong for Big Blue, or excuse me, the Tennessee Orange. They're pushing that Kentucky. They're pushing that Wildcat line back. That's pure strength right there, Spence. And it forces him to kind of like bounce out and try and find something because it's collapsing on him. So
second down, quick toss, left side, it's intercepted. It's intercepted on the right side and down to about the 23-yard line. Great interception there for Tennessee to shut down Kentucky's drive.
yeah, Spence, looking at the replay right here, little play action, and he looks at it the entire way. He sells it right there. That's Braxton Swift on the pick and return.
Braxton Swift from Gibbs at 5'5", went to Knoxville for the tryout location for his Future Stars game, and he's got an interception here in Martin. Tennessee will start their drive from the 23-yard line. Seems like the last several drives, Tennessee has just had the luxury of not having to go a huge distance. This gets tossed high up, catch on the 20-yard line, forced out of bounds. Good toss there from Cullen Hayden.
Yeah, Spence, I know we talked about where all these players come from, different parts of each state. What about the coaches? Do you have any information on them, where they come from?
We don't have those on the rosters, but at least in terms of the Future Stars programs, certainly a lot of staff members from different places around Kentucky and Tennessee left side carry around the 21-yard line. Stopped short on the carry.
Yeah,
This winds down
decent
time.
run there. That kind of scared me because it looked like his leg got wrapped up a little bit by the lineman and the linebacker. So, he seems to be okay. He's walking good. Just a little scary, but decent run. He cuts up, and, yeah, there's no replay on that. So
Good tackle there from Braden Ford to force the stop. 3rd and long. Another carry, this time by Bunton, who's got space. And Cruz Bunton gets into the end zone. Another touchdown for Tennessee.
Yeah, Spence right there. I stated the play before. I was concerned about his leg. That erased all doubt. It seems to be working okay, and he cuts up. He kind of weaves around the defense right there, gets that next level, and cuts outside. And we got a lot of laundry on the field, Spence.
I couldn't tell if I think the laundry was after the play. The score will stand, likely another, possibly some unsportsmanlike conduct penalties here. I think the official is going to have a discussion with Kentucky's coaching staff to confirm what happened. See if they want to use this on the try or on the kickoff. So it is an unsportsmanlike conduct called on Tennessee. So the touchdown is good, and I believe they opted to enforce this on the kickoff. I think they're still having a discussion about it among the officials.
Spence, you would think with this being the 8th grade game, they'd try to trot out the kicker.
Okay, yep. Now they're pushing it back with the unsportsmanlike 15 yards. You wonder if they would, if they have a kicker, if they would try it with this long of a distance.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, on the last 7th grade game, they had a kicker for Tennessee. No, they had a kicker for Kentucky who was 1 for 1 on PATs. If I'm not mistaken, and missed a field goal.
Yeah,
it hit
just
the
barely.
upright.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the college field goal is a lot tighter than high school. So it would have been good at the high school level, but this is a college field, so.
You got Maurice Smith in the backfield who will settle as a blocker. Toss right side, 2-point conversion attempt is no good. 18-0, Tennessee leading over Kentucky with 5:57 left to go in this first half. Three scores for Tennessee on the last 3 drives. Kentucky trying to get some sort of response as mishandled by Jet Reynolds. Will get brought down at the 33-yard line.
Yeah, Reynolds just tripped up on the outside right there. Just got his feet tangled by the orange gunner right there. Didn't get a number right there. It's a little too late for that. But number 24, Spence, what? Sorry, I don't have a roster on me.
Zach Nicaud.
Zach Nicaud. Okay, yeah. Zach Nicout on the tackle, just got downfield and got at his legs. I mean, that's all you can ask for from a special teams kind of player.
And will Kentucky get a response here? They'll see if they can lean into Cooper Scott again, but they'll just opt for the usual rushing side of things and a first down and more. Great carry by Moo.
Yeah, great upfield blocking right there by Kentucky right there. Line up in the Buckeye formation, and, they had that lead blocker on the other side, got upfield, and good little run for a first down.
New set of downs from the 46-yard line for Kentucky, trying to march down the field. They'll give it to Javian again, and this time he'll get a gain back to the line of scrimmage, so no yards acquired on that rush.
Yeah, let's see if we can get a replay on this right here. Yes, they line up in triple, try to go double punch left side, and just nothing going. That line just kind of squeezed in, and negative gain of yards on that play right there. You don't really see that formation. You don't really see this formation nowadays, Spence, the double out plus single back, more pistol look.
He's trying different things this level. Deep toss, right side in coverage, incomplete, in between the hands of McCown Carter. Had his cornerback beat. It was Ken Brady on him.
Yeah, that's unfortunate right there. It just it looks like it just popped out last minute. Here's a play right there. It just went right through his gloves. Just could not hold on right there. But what about the coverage right there by the cornerback too? He stayed with him every bit of the way. Even when the cornerback kind of tripped, he kind of got a hand on the ball a little bit, popped it out, and that's a good physical play. Not give up.
Flags fly for a false start on third down. They'll move it back to 3rd and 15 from the 41. Actually, they call it encroachment there. Moved up 5 yards for the 49. Third down and 5. From the Skyhawk logo. In motion, pass caught. Good reception there from Javian Mew.
Yeah, great run right there by Mew. Just cuts it upfield. Let's see the replay if we can get it. Kind of a little reverse slip screen almost, where you send the two tight ends out and just cuts upfield. That's a fantastic play call right there by the big blue team.
Good drive so far for Kentucky in terms of getting it down the field, and marching consistently. Started on the 38-yard line from this set of downs. The carry, but nothing doing from the Vols defense this time. Good tackle, Caleb Green and company shutting it down.
Yeah, call that line and linebacker unit the government during COVID, because they're just shutting the inside run down right there.
I got to tell you, there are some analogies that they're truthful.
It is truthful.
It also depends on which state you talk to on that. But
yeah, that is true.
2nd and 11. Blake Biggs, everybody.
Yep.
2nd and 11. This carry here, Rashard Green gets it up to the 35-yard line.
Spence, it was bound to happen. Sorry.
Rashard Green on the carry will get it for a couple of yards to get it to a 3rd and 8. As Kentucky has 2 timeouts and 2:18 and winding down left to go here in this first half.
And Spence, who gets the ball back at half? I don't quite remember.
That was Tennessee will get the ball with Kentucky deferring.
So if you're Kentucky right now, this is a must-score drive right here because you don't get the ball back.
Deep toss, going airing out and swatted at the last second. Good, clean coverage there from the Tennessee secondary.
Yeah, great coverage right there. He thought he had his receiver over top, but just couldn't rally it in.
That's Kavondre Bass on the coverage there. Shutting it down. Also had Asher Whitfield in the area. Minute 26 left on the game clock. A 4th down and 8 for Kentucky here.
Thought he went.
Yeah, it almost looked like somebody may have moved, and Kentucky will burn one of their second timeouts. Could have been encroachment, false start there.
Close.
Looked like a movement, but Kentucky will get a chance to think it over. Minute 26 left to go in this first half. One timeout left for Kentucky, 2 for Tennessee. 4th and 8 with 86 ticks left on the game clock. Deep toss, left side, wide open. Almost an interception there for Tennessee, but turnover on downs.
Spence, what a route right there. Just underthrew him, just sold him short right there. Number 12 right there is the receiver.
Bass.
Yeah, he tries to come back for it too soon because the ball's kind of underthrown and, can't. The corner was there right in time. He ran over, got his hand in the play and broke it up. Now it's going to be Tennessee football.
That's 2 plays in a row. Kavondre Bass broke up in coverage there. Good effort there from the 5'5" player from Oakland. Had a tryout in Nashville to get here to Martin. So now interesting for Tennessee. They get the ball to start the second half, and they've got a minute 19 and 2 timeouts left to work with. From the 36, airing it out across the middle, trying to get high up there. Good coverage from Kentucky. That was Brady Ratliff on the coverage.
And Spence, it looks like there's some laundry on the field towards the line. A flag on the field.
Yeah, most of the times when you have that close to the play, it's a holding, so they will repeat first down with that going back 10 yards. First and 20 with the holding penalty. This will be at the 26-yard line for the Tennessee Future Stars. Got a wide out on both sides with one in motion. And keeper here trying to get forward was Cullen Hayden, but defensive line wasn't having any of that for a gain of about a yard or two.
Yeah, defensive line's been playing real solid today, really containing the outside edge. We really hadn't seen the quarterback try and, break it outside for a run. He's kind of been staying in the pocket all day. I don't really know if that's his play style or if he's kind of a pocket passer. But I mean, they've kind of held their own. They've shut down the run when needed to, and the outside.
So they actually called an illegal shift on the offense, and because of the minimal gain, they declined the penalty. 60 seconds left to go in this first half. Looks like they'll do a quick toss here. Left side is Stinson. Try to get out of bounds, and they'll continue to run the clock with 40 seconds left.
Yeah, solid run after catch right there by Stinson. Got outside. We'll see if we can get a replay on this. Yeah, I kind of caught the back half of it. Kind of an outside bubble scheme right there. Just got some decent run after catch right there.
Looks like Tennessee content to just hold on to the ball here since they get it at the start of the second half. Final 12 seconds. Looks like they're just going to let it wind down, and that should do it. One half of action, and it's been all Tennessee here in the 8th grade scene. 18-0. Tennessee leading over Kentucky. We'll be back in about 10 minutes for coverage of the second half here from Martin. We welcome you back to this 8th grade competition of the future stars of Tennessee and Kentucky in the football scene. 18-0 Tennessee leading over Kentucky as the members of the Volunteer State will receive the ball for this second half. Kentucky has seemed to have some sparks at times, Blake, and they've seemed to drive down a little bit and try to get things going, but Tennessee's defense has been very well formed and has kept Kentucky from getting any sort of points on the board throughout the first 24 minutes.
Yeah, Kentucky's like an old car stalling out at the worst possible times, man. Yeah, just that's been the story for them all game. Just, they've been in positions where they can score, but they just cannot finish the deal. They can't close on it. They can't get in the end zone. Penalties have killed them, Spence. Also, positioning on the field, they're not starting the best at the best spots, and they can't finish in the end zone. That's why they got a blank on the board.
Normally you try not to sound the alarm or raise any panic, but it feels like on this drive for Tennessee, if Kentucky's defense does not stop them, this seems like the game is in essence over for Kentucky. We'll see how it goes from here. Low kick that's contacted at the 21-yard line for a return. It's woven around Cruz Bunton. Will get up to the 36-yard line, and that's where Tennessee will begin this first drive of the second half as we have a flag. As we have a flag down here on the field. First half, for the most part, it seems we mentioned about it being in favor of Tennessee, but their offense especially was really something special to watch.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They just kind of grounded and pounded the Wildcats and, kind of put on a clinic on the ground. Great outside run, great inside run a little bit up until the end. Consistent passing, nothing crazy downfield. I mean, they did connect on a shot or two, but nothing. I mean, it's been pretty consistent for the most part. As the back end of that flag is, did they add more to that, Spence?
Looks like it was a 15-yard penalty. Missed
Okay.
the exact signal they gave, at least for how far they're moving it back. So the drive is going to start on the 20-yard line. As this will be a start of the drive on the 20. The old rules for touchbacks in the end zone before they moved it up to the 25. 1st and 10. Deep toss, wide open in the middle in double coverage and just a step behind. Looked like he could have stretched out to grab it there. That was Dasani Molden, who had a golden opportunity to get the 4th score of the game.
Yeah, and that's been the story of the game, Spence. Just watching the play, right? Yeah, it just misses. It's just underthrown, overthrown balls. Just haven't been able to truly connect on point with his receivers today.
First time that we've seen Peyton Hager in the game. We got 2 number 4s on the roster for Tennessee, and he's going to get the ball to carry up. And how about that burst getting up to the 27-yard line? They'll give him a gain of 6 for a 2nd and 4, but Peyton Hager making his debut here in the 2025 Future Stars game for Tennessee.
Yeah, solid carry right there by Hager. Just splits the line right there and just powers up for a good run. That leaves them with a 3rd and about 4. We got a Kentucky Wildcat down on the field right now.
We will step aside as the training staff looks at the injured Kentucky Future Star. Dominique Patterson standing up on his own power and heading off to just get recomposed. Looked like he may have just had the wind knocked out of him. And looks like we got a player getting stretched out as well for Kentucky near the 30-yard marker.
Yeah, Spence, and like we mentioned earlier, I mean it's really hot out here, and cramping is common in these early games and into summer.
Low of 75 today, high of 92, and we're at the high right now at 92 degrees here. And I mentioned it several times with the turf adding to the heat level of it. I mean, we have shade right now with the sun not beating down, but still hot and humid, as is normal in the south. Carry here for Peyton Hager to the right side. He'll maybe gain a yard here, and that'll bring us up to a 3rd down at 12.
Yeah, Spence, I'm
4th down, sorry.
I'm looking, it's like 93 right now, plus you add the humidity. But I will say the wind has calmed down a little bit, but I feel like the clouds are helping with the heat just a little bit.
A little bit of heavier winds earlier today, too, that helps as well with getting that breeze.
Yeah. So Tennessee lining up, looks like they're going to be in the punt formation. Going to play it safe.
Well, the second time we've seen a punt in this competition, a high snap. As interesting to see 2 punt returners back, as it'll be Jet Reynolds blocking for the return. As you get out of bounds there, David Lawless on the return gets across midfield, and good positioning for Kentucky to start out this drive and try to get back in the game.
Yeah, check the replay right here, Spence. That is a big hit right there on that Kentucky Wildcat, and maybe a little bit of jawing near the end and from the Tennessee Big Orange side, but nothing crazy. Still a great return, though, regardless. And looks like they're backing them up, Spence. I think there was a penalty on them.
Yeah, if it's going back that far.
Yeah,
it must, or it could have been one of those penalties enforced at the spot of the foul, maybe a holding or blocking the back, something like that. So instead of being in Tennessee territory, you mentioned it at the start of the second half, it's penalties is what's really been a Achilles heel for Kentucky, as they'll have to start out on their own 30 for this drive. Handoff, another carry up the middle by Javian Mew.
Yeah, Mew right there just couldn't find anything up the middle. The linebackers clashed in on him, and the defensive line just really pinched right there, and just nothing going for the run game right now.
And the other thing you have to think about with these running plays is that it's really chunking away time. And when you think about it being a 3-possession game and being down, you wonder when Kentucky's going to start airing it out more.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we really hadn't seen Kentucky go to the air a whole heck of a lot. I'm sure, their quarterback is solid and can, as we go into a, more wide set here, still Buckeye, but maybe this is the play where they kind of start to air it out.
Well, not on this one. Left side again, Javian Mew, and looks like they get a benefit of it there, as he'll go down at about the 48, 49-yard line for a 1st down.
Yeah, solid run right there by Mew. Just cut up field when he needed to. Yeah, he cuts it, follows his blocker, follows the lead man in the buck, and just gets it for a good solid gain up near the 49, 50-yard line, and gets out of bounds. So he does not stop that clock, excuse me.
Well, they stop it to set the chains at least for a couple of seconds, but gets it to 9 minutes left to go in the 3rd. Kentucky driving. We saw this earlier with Kentucky able to chunk down several yards down the field and get some good gain, but this Tennessee defense has been relentless when their backs have really been against the wall. And same strategy where they take Javian Mew for a rush up the middle to the 45.
And Spence, this is more like it. I like the tempo of outside inside run and just mixing it and mixing up the play sheet, not doing the same consistent play over and over again. Yep. You can only go to the well so many times, but eventually the well dries up, Spence. Um,
I don't know why James is deciding to do this on camera shot of us
Yeah.
without warning, but could have waited
Yeah.
a little bit. But
Yeah.
it's we got to go. We're very privileged to be in this press box here at UT Martin Graham Stadium. It's as we got a flag here. Yeah, more than likely, when you have that sort of stoppage before the play, they'll call an illegal substitution on the offense, and move it back for a 2nd and 8.
And again, like I said, they had a good solid drive going there for a second. They stringed a couple good runs together, and then it's penalties. Let's see how this offense responds to this.
Another carry, another attempt to try and stuff it up the middle, but gets stuffed behind the line of scrimmage. And a good stop there from Tennessee's Trenton Gibbs.
Yeah, now would be a perfect time to, look deep in the play call sheet because, they line up in that same formation every time, and the defense snubs out the run every single time. They're in the backfield. You gotta change it up at some point. If you line up in the same alignment, do the same thing over and over, they're gonna catch on. So let's see how deep this Kentucky team goes into their play call sheet.
Now they face a 3rd and 9. I wonder how deep that play call sheet is for a future Stars game. I wonder if they have any trick plays up in the coordination side.
Yeah, we did see a hook and ladder earlier today. I wouldn't be surprised if there was like one or two where it's like a halfback toss pass maybe. And I wonder how deep the rest pocket is with all that laundry he's having to carry on the field. I mean, that's what, the 3rd time this drive? I think 2nd, but 3rd would not be a bad guess either. 2nd.
Third and long. An interception. 3rd and long, and Kentucky throws an interception. Zach Nicaud picks it off, and Tennessee continues to stay strong in the secondary.
Now, Spence, there is another flag on the field, so we will see if – yeah, it looks like the Kentucky defense is trotting out, but this will most likely go on them. On Kentucky, excuse me.
Maybe one of those
Clarify.
penalties on the interception return.
All right, so after the act of the interception, so it's And looks like that Kentucky defense is starting to go back. I think they're calling it on Tennessee. Oh, no. Oh,
Yep,
it's on the return. Okay.
It's unsportsmanlike conduct called on Tennessee.
So the interception still stays on
the
field.
Yep.
Okay.
Amp gave the signal for after the play. Tennessee will start out on their own 45-yard line with the interception, getting the ball back in. 6:55 left to go in this 3rd quarter. Chance for them to go up by another score, which, as we've seen throughout pretty much the entire day, there's no distance too far for Tennessee to drive down. From the 45. Toss left side of the wing, about the 44-yard line, and a good catch.
Yeah, great catch. Great off-balance catch right there. Sneaks the foot down and drags it in. That's a fantastic catch right there by the Big Orange.
That was Minor on the reception. It's from Alcoa, standing at 5'9". 3rd and 10. From the 44-yard line, trying to get this audible here. You have to deal with that many audibles during your time, Blake?
Not necessarily. No. We were pretty much off the play call sheet. For the most part, there were some times when we didn't like the formation we were going up against, but very rarely.
Scramble for Cullen Hayden, gets brought down for the sack. Darius Ridner and company bring him down.
Yeah, and that's a fantastic pursuit by the defensive line right there. They just pinpointed him down, and they wouldn't let go. They got after him. They were on pursuit of him the entire time. Great way to contain the quarterback right there.
You have a second and almost 20 here for Tennessee. So Kentucky's defense has benefited by penalties, certainly, but getting a good sack there, putting them back in their own territory. About halfway through this third quarter. From the 45, handoff up the middle, and nowhere for Stinson to go.
Yeah, great pursuit right there by the Kentucky defense. Linebackers stepped up, pinched down on the run, and just contained him. Only got a couple yards, and now we're staring at on this side of the state they call it 3rd and Nashville.
3rd and Nashville. Maybe we should use that term in Gatlinburg since it's about the same distance, maybe a little bit more. 3rd and long. Yeah, good catch there. We have a flag on the backside. C.J. Briggs pulled it in, but official signaling a hold. And looking for Kentucky, looking for indication to Kentucky they are going to decline it as they called the hold there on Mason Fincham.
Yeah, I believe Mason Fincham right there. This game's been had a lot of penalties so far on both sides of the ball, but it seems like it's hurt Kentucky the most, believe it or not.
4th and long, a punt away for Tennessee. Put out by Phillip Vaughn and picked up Jet Reynolds. Reynolds trying to get past the one tackler, couldn't do it. Brought down by Zach Nicoud.
Yeah, a little mix-up right there. We'll see if we can get the replay right here. Yeah, it looks like a little mix-up right there. One guy just didn't want to call off it. Cuts outside and just great physical tackle right there. That kid's been in the weight room this summer, you can tell.
After the punt, slight return, Kentucky will start out this drive on their own 28-yard line. Still plenty of time left in the game, certainly. Kentucky's just had their challenges on the offensive side. Tennessee's defense been very steadfast throughout the majority of the game. Enzo Swanson with the carry has got a good burst to the 47-yard line and a big first down for Kentucky.
Yeah, great run right there by Swanson. If I'm Kentucky right now, I'm wanting to get on this ball. I'm wanting to get urgent. I'm trying to hurry this ball up because stuff like that keeps momentum up. Quick plays, quick runs, large gains. If you add some urgency and wear this defense down, I mean, you get a score in no time. Just got to be quick on the ball.
And we mentioned it earlier with the heavy rush plan that's been for Kentucky. Time is of the essence, especially. I mean, there's still you got around 15 and change left total game time. Still some time here as is carried by Javian Mew. Goes up to about the 47-yard line for a gain of about 4.
Yeah, little gain right there. Just trying to chip away at this defense slowly. Curious to see if they'll do a little mesh concept or try to open it up over the middle. It's Spence again today. We really hadn't seen either team really try to hit like hit like a in route or like slant route over the middle. It's been down the sideline or to the corner of the field when it comes to passing today.
Looked like a high snap at first, incomplete. Pass intended for Mew.
Yeah, again, he tried to go short right there and just dropped it. Just mentally just wanted to run before he actually caught it. And, that happens quite a bit as a receiver. And it's one of those things that you would think is routine, but it really is mental.
3rd and 5 across midfield. Another high snap. It gets slung quickly, incomplete. And a flag down, maybe a horse collar.
Yeah, right there, a little bit of laundry towards the end. And, again, Spencer, another penalty this game. We're not keeping count, are we?
I think at this point the penalty counter would break if we were kept count of it.
Yeah, I really am. I'm kind of curious to go back and watch and see what the final tally is on this.
So pass interference makes that an automatic first down, and brings it up to for the spot there at the 32-yard line. So we've been mentioning about how Kentucky has had issues on the penalty side that's been in favor of Tennessee, and now they get a break here, heading deeper into the Future Stars territory for the Volunteer State.
Yeah, and they're in real good position right now. They just need to score and get back in this game.
Hand it off. Trying to go up the middle there. Swanson gets brought down by Colin Simpson.
Yeah, try to throw the defense off by spreading it out a little bit, but they went back to the well and it ran dry. Just nothing there. The defense just collapsed in, and pretty good job from the defensive. Both defensive lines have been pretty solid today. And that's not to discredit the offensive line because they've been pretty solid here today too. But I think it's more so speaks of the accomplishments of the defensive line rather than decrediting the O-line today.
Foster Thompson and J.P. Brandenburg, two of those offensive linemen for Kentucky. As we get a stoppage here for encroachment, they'll move it up 5 yards. We've also got Kagan Hurley on that offensive line for Bluegrass State. And in tandem as well, Christian Alsabrook and Carter Lawless trying to hold their ground and keep people in the backfield protected as they'll air it out with a pass incomplete. And it's those kind of miscatches. Mm-hmm. David Lawless incomplete there. Unfortunately, we've seen those type of drops several times from Kentucky today.
Yeah, no, Spence, that's kind of what I was saying earlier. It's those kind of mental lapses where, you focus more so on running after the catch, but you got to catch it first. And he just tried to take off without it, and dropped it right there. So now they're staring at a 3rd and medium. Must convert if you're Kentucky.
3rd down and 5. Deep toss looking maybe towards the end zone and incomplete. Jet Reynolds, intended target in double coverage, would have had a 1st and goal if he had pulled it in.
Yeah, nothing doing there. The defense isn't having that. Double coverage right there. Watch right here. Rolls out, fires it. It's a pretty solid throw. It's just not in the right spot. It's into coverage too. So that's something he'll pick up later. He's still got a football career ahead of him. He'll learn to read those zones a lot better throughout his time in high school.
Fourth and 5 coming up here for Kentucky. You mentioned a must-convert situation for this team as a toss across, and it's another broken-up pass there. Upset that he couldn't get the interception, but it's a turnover on downs. Tennessee will get the ball back. New set of downs for Tennessee, forcing a turnover on downs, 4th and out. They'll start on their own 27-yard line, and this gets tossed left side, incomplete, or at least it bobbled. They ruled it a lateral as it was picked up by Cruz Bunton.
Yeah, Spence, that was an interesting formation. Obviously, your slot receiver was supposed to be off the line, but he was really off the line right there.
And it looks like they changed the ruling on there. They ruled it an incomplete pass because they allowed it to play out. And you could kind of see it on here where we were looking at it. Yeah, it's too close to call from that angle. But officials talked together, made the decision of a forward pass, and ruled it an incomplete for 2nd and 10.
And line up in empty bunch right here. Not empty bunch, just empty trips. Excuse me.
Minute 5 in this third quarter on 2nd and 10. Tennessee leading 18-0 over Kentucky. Quick toss across the middle. 30 is where it's recepted at, and forward progress will actually be ruled. Waiting for the signal there at about the 31.
Yeah, great pass right there. I really like the look of Tennessee trying to spread that defense out, try and get the middle of the field thin with Kentucky Wildcats, so to speak. Great dump off right there. Again, as I was saying, we haven't really seen much plays attacking the middle right there. That's a great example of it right there.
Third down, 17 seconds left in the quarter. Have to get a snap off to prevent the delay of game penalty. And they do rush up the middle, trying to carry it here. Looks like he may have got tripped up at first, but cut through to get to the 33-yard line. A little bit of shoving back and forth, some extracurricular between the players here, which, again, and a flag thrown with, again, we mentioned with the high temperatures of how tensions can run high, and they stopped the clock with 1 second left in the third for the penalty. The officials are going to get a chance to sort this out, and coaching staff's trying to send the Kentucky guys back and get at least some order here before we get into the final frame of this 8th grade Future Stars contest. So ruling it a dead ball foul, personal foul on, it looks like I guess as they're talking to the coach and they're needing to clarify which player or players it is on. And, all right, okay, they have everybody they have all the players gathering at the center for Kentucky. It looks like they're trying to sort things out. So we'll be back in a few moments. They let the 1 second run down. It was unsportsmanlike conduct enforced, and we get to the final frame and the final quarter in the 2025 Future Stars competition between Tennessee and Kentucky. Tennessee won the earlier games. They are 2-0, at least for this weekend, and looking to go 3-0 as they lead 18-0 over Kentucky. Spencer Thompson, Blake Biggs, our producer Eli Cornett, director James Shannon, bringing you the action here from Graham Stadium in University of Tennessee Martin here in the Volunteer State, as they will move it back here for another penalty as this goes back. And Blake, I want to give you another chance. As we mentioned before, it's very cool that when we get to have special guests and new crew members to work on, but you have a very special crew member that you get to work with here.
Yeah, I know. Oh, hang on. Punt right there. Muffed it a little bit.
As this punt gets returned by Jet Reynolds, going all the way. Is Reynolds going to go the distance? Trying to avoid the tackles, and he does. Jet Reynolds from Bowling Green Junior High School. Now we do have a little bit of a fight in center field between several players. Looks like Kentucky had just gathered. They just gathered to try and keep things together and keep things sportsmanlike with the penalties being thrown, and a fight broke out a little bit in the center of the field as we got flags, and they are going to sort this out. So let me backtrack, because I was while they're sorting this out, as I was saying, go ahead and tell us we have another great crew member with us here this weekend.
Yeah, no, Allison Monroe. She's a pretty special friend of mine. I've known her for 3 years, 2.5 years. But yeah, it's been good having her up here. It kind of celebrated 2.5 years. We've been
congratulations
dating for a while, so yeah, I guess it's been a minute.
You and I have been calling games for several years. I'm surprised she hadn't joined us for any of the other broadcasts at this point.
Yeah. Well, I kind of asked her. I was like, hey, I'm going home for the weekend. My sister's coming home from Colorado Monday. I was like, I'm doing this. Would you like to join me? And she's like, sure, why not? Something new and something, I'm interested in. She's like, I'm in. Yeah, no, it's been great. It's been a fun weekend. We've had a pretty fun slate of games. I know the 6th grade game was had a lot of high offensive power to it. And then the last game that was played, the 7th grade game, I mean, that was a pretty solid game. I was pretty impressed with the talent I saw out there. Today's just been, a physical game, more so to speak. It looks like they're kicking the extra point, Spence.
I believe we are going to get a signal here, and I would not be surprised if we maybe have an ejection or two, which is still odd. So, unsportsmanlike. Yeah, Kentucky called for it, and unsportsmanlike as well. 2 of them on Kentucky. Well, he pointed to the same side on Kentucky, unless the coach from Tennessee is just asking for a clarification before he finishes. But
yeah, Spence, this is our first kick today, I believe. Or no, second. Excuse me.
Second
kick.
Yep. And at least set here for Kentucky is Ethan Jones, set to kick it off. Try to kick it between these college-level uprights. And Kentucky's coach also needing to give a clarification here.
Yeah, Spence, I know it's been hot. I know, the weather has been a little bit more extreme, compared to football, normal football conditions. But, how about the venue today? I'm pretty, I'm pretty pleased with just the amenities here. And it's a pretty field. It's a pretty campus, out in the country, close to the farms, more so to speak. But, it's what's your feeling on it, on just the general setting, because it's not our typical broadcast, so to speak. We're not like 8-man isn't real, or excuse me, us at 8-man Extreme aren't really in West Tennessee, if ever at all.
It's this is as this gets booted through the uprights for a successful PAT, gets us to 18-7. So Kentucky does get on the board, and I guess we'll stick around to answer your question. It is. James was mentioning it when we went up the elevator, and we got another flag down in the field as they sort this out. But he was mentioning that for all the times that we've called games in the back of a pickup truck, games that we've been in the pouring rain calling games on the bleachers throughout the seasons, getting to be in the press box here and be in air conditioning as well, which is a privilege, especially in the humidity of the South. But it's usually different, the kind of things we've done. It's a great venue, great place to be, and it's also been great with the two games we had earlier. I mean, certainly it was a bit rough with the sun beating down directly on us because the press box is perfectly positioned because of college football games usually starting at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon or later. But early in the morning with it beating down, that's where it gets a little bit tumultuous. But been great venues, great hosts, great people to work with at the Future Stars for both Tennessee and Kentucky as well, and.
Pretty solid day, Spence.
Yeah.
Pretty solid day. And
only 11 minutes, 49 seconds left, at least at game time for it, and then we get the usual of packing everything up and getting ready to head back to leave most of us on the east middle side of Tennessee. You don't have to worry that much because you've only got an hour drive.
Yeah, and I'm from Jackson. I have family. I have family here. Family down the road, but it's kind of been nice. It's kind of been nice for me because I haven't really had to drive. Because whenever I do the broadcast with y'all, it's usually 2 to 3 hours worth of driving. I think the shortest I've had to drive to join a broadcast is Tuscaloosa, and that's an hour and a half. So it's been a good break for me. Been a good break for me at least.
Well, all this at least sorted out with the penalty here, and they are moving up the ball with that penalty they enforced last. It looks like it was another unsportsmanlike conduct, unless they're moving it even more. Is this? It looks like we had that many dead ball fouls that forced it up to the 15-yard line. I don't think I have ever seen this in any form of football ever, with the ball being moved all the way up to the 15 for a kickoff.
Oh, gosh.
If I'm not mistaken, I think our producer Eli was just telling us you could have the 1-point kickoff here. Isn't that right? I mean, I need to look at the NFHS rulebook to see if it has it there. I would be surprised if it didn't, but if they can just get enough of a lift on this and do I think the fair catch kick is what that's called.
Why would they try to do one when they can just kick it through the uprights? That's 3, isn't it, Spence? That's a
no,
joke.
Yeah,
no, I'm joking.
That'd be great if that was.
That'd be pretty funny, though.
You see, I know the NFL would never do this because their kickers have enough range, but it'd be cool on kickoffs if they kick it through the uprights. They get some sort of point. They're onsiding it as.
Big Orange gets a ball.
Yeah, they get it with inside of the 5, inside on the 4-yard line, and surprisingly no time came off the clock there for that onside. So Tennessee will be stuck deep in their own territory, but the name of the game for the Volunteer State team is just run the ball, just run out the clock.
Yep, run the ball, just running up the gut, and Tennessee still got some time to burn. Too. So, yeah, gotta run the ball out. If you're Tennessee, I'm worried about time management right now, and I'm wanting to get, I'm wanting to chew this clock out, burn it, so I don't give Kentucky the time a day to come back in this game.
11:49 left to go in regulation. Carry up the middle to about the 6-yard line. Has a good carry there. That looked like it was Tennessee. believe that was Stinson who carried it up. Again, the scrunch jerseys get a little bit challenging to read from distance here, but Stinson carrying it up and gets it up to about the 8-yard line, and that'll make it about a 2nd and 6.
Yeah, physical run right there. A little bit chippy ending right there to the play, but pretty good run right here as he finds a gap.
Gets a great gap here, does Stinson. He's got some people chasing him now, but no one's going to catch him here. That started from inside of the 10. That's a 90-plus yard rushing touchdown for Tennessee.
Yeah, that's a great run outside right there. Let's see if we can get the replay on this one. No, and again, there's no laundry on the field. This is a clean play. See, oh, never mind. I jinxed that too soon. Yeah, it just hits the outside corner, as we saw in the last second right there, and just trots all the way for 6. Yep, I spoke too soon. You can see in the bottom left corner of the
you could
screen.
see the yellow.
Before the replay it came in, as soon as I said that, announcer's jinx is real, folks.
They got a flag down at the 24. That flag you saw on your screen a moment ago on the 6. And I don't know if the name Don Henley means anything to you, but I know the song "Dirty Laundry" isn't talking about flags on the field, but that's what comes to mind right now because the amount of flags that have been thrown throughout this contest.
And they're still talking it over. They may be thinking about calling the game because it is getting chippy, and the game. I wouldn't say the game is out of reach, but pros and cons of letting this game go on is somebody could get hurt, altercation could break out, versus we let this game ride out. And I'm not calling. I don't want that, but refs are deciding what's best for the coaches and the players.
So the touchdown is good. They ruled the unsportsmanlike on Tennessee. So they must have said something when they were in the area of the Kentucky players there. And from the 3-yard line, they'll have an attempt here for the 2-point attempt, leading 24-7 right now with 11:09 left to go. Hard to believe, especially with the amount of penalties and things that have happened in the span of the end of the third and here to about 51 seconds, I should say, left in the start of the fourth. Been dragging out for a little bit.
Yeah, I know. It's felt like an hour has gone by, Spence. And really, we're only, not even a minute into the next quarter.
Direct snap, trying to go on the right side. Carry there for, I believe that was Maurice Smith trying to push through to the goal line. And 2-point attempt is no good. 24-7, 11:09 left to go in regulation as Tennessee still leads over Kentucky. With the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, the kickoff will occur from the 25-yard line for Tennessee. So very opposite of what we saw from the last kickoff. Again, I don't think I've ever seen that. That'll go at least in the archives of intriguing moments through the years of calling football games around the Southeast. Good lift on the kick. This will go all the way down to the 36-yard line, and on the return is David Lawless. He'll get a couple of yards, maybe a little more, gets across midfield to the 46.
Yeah, great return right there by Lawless, cutting up field. I don't know if we can get a replay on that or not, but solid return right there, and they're in real good position, if they want to come back. I mean, there's 11 minutes and some change left in the game. You're down a couple scores. and you're on the other side of the field, driving. Good chance. I mean, good chance. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's definitely not likely, but possible.
From the 45-yard line, Kentucky, this handoff to Swanson. Trying to go up for the first down. He'll get a little bit more, down to about the 32.
Yeah, way to pile drive right there. The defense, Swanson, great run, kicks it outside, and picks his team a first down. Picks up a first down for Big Blue. And don't look now, they're starting to drive, Spence.
And we've seen this before from Kentucky throughout the game. They've had some good drives, some strings, some good solid plays together. And close to knocking on the doorstep of the end zone. And a carry will result in a loss of about a yard or two.
And nothing going right there, Spence. Just inside run. I'm kind of curious how far the quarterback would have gotten had he kept the ball on that option and kicked it outside and, hugged that sideline. He had some real estate there. The defense crashed in on that run. They bit hard and, they got something right there. So now that kind of sets up a kind of awkward 2nd and 10 for the offense.
Second and 11 with time winding down, about 9:30 left to go in the game, and nowhere to go. Austin Jacobson tried to sneak out of the tackle, and a big move in the secondary. Trenton Gibbs initiating the sack.
Yeah, and they lined up in Buckeye again, and, that formation specifically, you have a lead blocker or two unless you take the option, and the quarterback took the option to go outside. Edges really contained. They played contained well on that. They got to him and dragged him down for a loss. Spence, announcer's jinx is real because, when I said, they're starting to drive, bang, bang, back-to-back losses on the play.
Results in a 3rd and long with that last sack. Deep toss left side and overthrown. And double coverage there. Both players colliding into each other. That was Skylar Rowan, the intended target.
And the quarterback right there, he was going for the moon shot right there, just trying to get his man to the end zone, trying to get a quick 6. And looks like they might be trotting out the punt team.
Interesting choice. And in theory, they've got all 3 of their timeouts and about 8:36 left to go in regulation. I know the Titans did this a couple of years ago where they had that fake punt that was successful within this sort of range, and I know it's in the state of Tennessee right now, but
low snap
and a flag. So at least shut things down. And it'll move it back another 5 yards. You wonder if they were maybe thinking about doing some sort of fake punt. Probably not with the penalty now, but
I doubt it. And they do have a chance to back up the Big Orange team right here. And I mean, they're banking on their defense right now. Them showing punt.
Almost a block, but high up punt that will luckily bounce inside. That was a lucky bounce that went down to. They'll spot it at about the 24-yard line.
Yeah, that was a gracious bounce, Spence. It just kind of spun the right way and got some extra yardage. It didn't look like a great punt at first. Looked like maybe somebody got a hand in there, but ended up being decent in the end.
And from the 24-yard line, Tennessee will get a new set of downs with 8:22 remaining in regulation. Kentucky's defense trying to prevent any more damage, but we got a flag down now. And it's like an illegal substitution called on the offense.
And another penalty, Spence. Whoever took the over for today's game on penalties, they're sitting real pretty right now. I'm kidding. I would hope nobody took anything over under today.
No, for sure.
On this game.
And good escape to keep the play alive, but the pass short. It was a good scramble there from Tennessee's quarterback to try and keep the play alive. Just didn't dart it well enough to his receiver.
Yeah, good job just escaping the pocket when it was collapsing. Just eluded the pressure and just could not find his man. You know, the pocket collapsed. He couldn't really set anything up, and it resulted in an incomplete. Now they're, staring at second and a country mile.
Carry up the middle. Another gain of a couple yards. Brings it up to about a 3rd and 11. And now starts the game for Tennessee to just run the clock. You wondered on a couple of passing plays and what they were trying to do. One of those that time is very much on their side at this point.
Yeah, Tennessee's just chewing it down, just trying to get, trying to go home, and just burning the clock right now. Expect another run play, even though they're lining up multiple wide. 3 strong, 1 weak, outside.
A decent amount of these Tennessee players. We'll get to that in a second. Deep toss, right side, double coverage. It's intercepted. It's intercepted. Zaid Charasika from the Linden Lightning picks it off and gives some life to Kentucky.
Yeah, it looked like for a minute one of the Tennessee players ripped it out. I think they were just trying to, for appearance-wise, Spence. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but sometimes it does come down to those, until it hits the ground plays right there. He was just trying to get it ripped out, so it seemed more like an incompletion than a interception. But clear as day, refs called it. That was a great pick by the cornerback right there. What was his name again, Spence?
That was Zaid Charasika from the Linden Lightning who got the interception.
Yeah, he got way up there, Spence. Yep. I went airborne for that one.
And couldn't be at a more crucial time as well. This team down by 17. What you think as well, they do have a field goal kicker, so if they wanted to try and at least get it to within 2-score game, they could. But problem is time at this point as Enzo Swanson breaks through to the 25-yard line and will get a little bit more on the extra effort down to the 24.
Yeah, it gets tangled up there. A little bit of extracurricular activity after the play, but still no laundry on the field. Keep it clean. Still running the clock, just trying to score, just try and make amends. Clock's burning, sunlight's burning.
About 6:20, direct snap. Cooper Scott to the right side will get past the line to gain and a little bit more.
Yeah, right there, Cooper Scott, direct QB sneak is what you call it, I believe. Just takes up the gut, goes a little bit outside, gets that second level, and just eludes the pressure until he meets that sideline. And a mass full of turf, almost some grass over there. He got knocked pretty far over there, Spence. That was a big hit out of bounds.
New set of downs from the 12. Kentucky trying to break through on the double-digit mark on the scoreboard. They have a chance here going for the goal line. Cooper Scott is in for the touchdown.
Yeah, Cooper Scott right there. He's like, I love that physicality right there. He eats it up and go. Yeah, we'll watch the replay right here. Oh, that's the direct snap play right there. Okay, so on your screen you see right there, boom, a little bit of physicality right there. Big fall at the end. There's a little bit of concrete right there. I don't know if they can see it. So we got a face full of that and a little bit of grass. I don't know if he'll replay the next play. It may be behind a little bit, but he took that. He took it up the gut, straight to the end zone, fought off like two dudes, and took it like a man, spiked the ball at the end. And
Kentucky calls their first timeout of the second half to get a chance to think things over on this next point after. And looks like they will try to make this a 10-point game to make it 24-14. They will put their trust into Ethan Jones as they have throughout the entirety of the afternoon. Jones, low kick, but makes it through the uprights, 24-14, so 5:31. Now, I will say we did see Kentucky try an onside kick. Maybe we'll see it on the other side of the break. Kentucky has new life, down by 10 here in this 8th grade Future Stars competition. Managed to get a score on their drive here after a successful interception around the 40-yard line. And they will opt to boot it deep instead of going for an onside kick, as this will go for a touchback into the end zone. 5:31 left. Kentucky's got 2 timeouts left, so Blake, I don't know if you've ever gone fully down the coaching route in the high school football scene, but if you have your coach's cap on right now, both sides, what do you think is going into the mindset of strategies going forward?
Okay, so if I'm Tennessee right now, obviously I'm trying to bleed this clock out. I'm just running it down their gut. If they squeeze middle, that's fine. I'll stretch it outside, try and get a little bit of space. But I'm keeping this ball on the ground. I'm leaving it there. Even if I don't pick up the first down, that's great. I just want this clock to roll out, and we'll see what they do as they go in wide. And there's You'll never guess what there is. There's more flags on the field.
We've seen that illegal substitution penalty several times throughout the afternoon, too. Not as much in the early games, but at least specifically in this game, it's been a challenge on both sides in that regard.
Right.
I'm going to move it back 5 yards. Tennessee will keep it back. And good defensive stop in the backfield. Nathaniel Rogers with the tackle for loss.
And that puts Tennessee in a really, really bad position because, now they're inside the 5. They don't have a lot of room to work with. Or, excuse me. Oh, they spotted it forward progression. Never mind. But, I mean, still, they don't have just a whole lot of room to work with. You're second and a country mile away. Yes, you want to bleed the clock out, but there's still time left in the game and, not a lot of room to work with here. And a punt can put Kentucky in really good position.
Another carry goes to the 15. Brings up a third down. They gain back some yardage on the loss.
Yeah, a little spread option look. Then again, they're trying to keep it on the ground. They're trying to let this clock roll. Roll clock roll.
Yeah, Bunton on the carry. Under 4.5 left to go in regulation. It's probably the only option Kentucky has right now to not burn their timeouts this early on.
Yeah, because, I mean, they still have another drive. I mean, they're down 2, so.
Close to an encroachment there from the defensive side. Good awareness to Nathaniel Rogers for not jumping too forward. High up, pressure, toss, right side, catch is made. Irving full of love. Gets the reception a little bit more, and he gets across midfield, and that chunks away even more time and yardage.
Yeah, and he squeezed that sideline and got a good run as there seems to be an injured.
Yeah, we got 2 injured players there. Looked like it was a collision between the two. They both may have collided there, and medical staff's going to take a look at both of them. So that was Harley Go, who from Olmsted Middle School, who has at least walked off on the field on his own power, still be looked at by medical staff. Likely his day is done out of an abundance of precaution, as they will resume clock with 3.5 left to go. Tennessee getting a huge chunk play, and maybe another one here over the top, in between coverage, incomplete.
Yeah, just bounced up right there. Looks like it hit. Maybe we can get a replay of it. Right there. So he goes for the post.
Oh, and Cruz Bunton limping after that play as well. He's down in the end zone. Not a good sign either. You could.
Yeah, looks like two Kentucky players got their hands on the ball and poked it loose. Otherwise, that would have been 6 most likely.
Yeah. Bunton is back up on his own feet for a little bit. It looks like he's back on his own power and is going to walk over to the sideline. Looks like we had a couple of times, and again, it's a testament to the heat is really starting to get to people. You have to be careful on staying hydrated and keeping your electrolytes flowing, and it's really difficult to do that when you've got 92 degrees outside and humidity.
Yeah, no, I don't know what percentage the humidity is today, but I mean, I'm from the area. I've personally seen it storm. Like there's a tree down in my backyard. So there's been some pretty bad thunderstorms roll in. Not only West Tennessee, but Middle Tennessee too. It's across the state. It's just been hot. Little heat wave across the south.
Heat wave and rain wave, or at least
rain
across
wave.
Tennessee too.
Yeah, it's been pelting everybody.
This carry on the right side, this Peyton Hager will go up for a gain of about 5 yards and get to the, I want to say crescendo, but I don't think, can't remember if crescendo is the ending note in a symphony or orchestra.
Yeah. Is it?
Getting to the end of of this act.
Okay, yeah, just got confirmation. That's gradual growth.
Gradual growth. Okay, we appreciate. It's good to have a band member on staff to help with that, with those kind of analogies or similes. But
when you say mine were bad, you've been at my neck all game. Come on, Spence.
I didn't say yours were bad. It was just more shock factor on some of them, but. We try to have a lot of fun, especially in these sort of circumstances. About 2:20 left to go in regulation, but we're getting to the final act here as Tennessee faces a 4th down, and certainly one more first down, and they could just do victory formation the rest of the contest. About a 4th down and 6. Deep toss right side, catch made. Just out of bounds, but that will not be enough. Good catch by Marcos McCord on the edge, but that will get us to a turnover on downs, and Kentucky will get the ball back with 1:54 and 2 timeouts. So,
yeah, Spence, I'm not saying the game is over just yet, but despite however today ends, it's been all Big Orange all day for all 3 games. Tennessee won. I don't quite remember the score of the 6th grade game. They won by a couple. 28-14. 7th grade game, obviously very close. Came down within a score. Tennessee pulled it out towards the end, and today's been all Tennessee in this final game.
That's what you want to see in these sort of these future stars or all-star, all-American, whatever the label you put on that. That's what you want to see in these sort of games, have some close competition and not one-sided or another. I was trying to coordinate there, sending Lawless back inside. It's a keeper here for Jacobson. Carry the ball himself for a first down across midfield to the 49-yard line. And they will stop it briefly to move the chains.
Yeah, great QB hurry right there by the quarterback. Great run inside, and sometimes you just got to take the game into your own hands, and that's what he does. He powers up field, and they got a first down. They're driving.
So the clock continued to run even with the first down. Chains there. Another keeper here for Austin Jacobson. He gets brought down for only a gain of a couple of yards, but 70 seconds left, and with a 10-point difference here, we do have a timeout called by Kentucky. They'll burn their second timeout. So 69 ticks left to go in regulation. Kentucky will give a chance to think it over. Second down and 8, a 2-yard gain, 1:09 left. One timeout left for Kentucky as they face within 10 points. Toss right side, high up intended. And did he catch that?
He did not.
I was waiting on a signal there. They
say that.
Yeah, they ruled it a catch.
Okay.
I guess his arm was wrapped underneath and kept it in. It was waiting on a signal, so it gained a couple of yards.
Yeah, let's see the replay here.
And I believe Kentucky did burn their final timeout.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just kind of like –
great awareness there.
Yeah, kind of bird nested towards the end.
And if I'm not mistaken, that was Rashard Green from Union County Middle School who made that catch.
Fantastic catch.
It was either him or Jalen McCown Carter from Westport Middle School, one of the two. Great catch regardless. Yeah, 58 seconds left. Toss right side. Good catch at the 20, trying to cut over, and Kentucky is going to get within one score. A great route, great reception across the middle, and a good touchdown, Jalen McCown Carter.
Yeah, if you're Kentucky, that's exactly what you need. This and an onside, and all of a sudden we got a ball game on our hands, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, you say they need the onside kick regardless of what happens on this play. Certainly a PAT lets you try to tie it, but
yeah. And if they don't get it, they got to start punching at that ball.
Yep. Well, I don't even know if it would be punching it at the ball.
Like Kentucky does?
And the attempt after is no good, so it will be a 4-point game. So with 48 seconds. Now, again, keep in mind, Kentucky only has, by my count, they only have one timeout because they've called timeouts previously in the contest. So this is onside kick. This is their last gasp of air.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really their last chance, before, that'll be the end of the game. I'm not – it's their last realistic chance. Obviously, Tennessee can turn it over. It's not out of the possibility, but are they going to? We'll see. We'll just have to see. So it should be a good game. Should be good rest of the game, especially if Kentucky somehow gets this onside their way. Then it's 4 points. They missed the PAT earlier, so they have to go the length of the field to score. And by then, mostly, there won't be enough time to put together a drive. I don't know. We've seen crazier things before, Smith,
yes.
haven't we? Yes.
Yeah, you and I have seen some crazy stuff over the years. Eli and I have certainly seen crazier situations than these. Eli saying he's hoping we don't get double overtime if we get into any sort of things. Yeah, we had that in the last year's national championship for high school 8-man football. Had about I'm trying to remember 2019 went to how many overtimes it went.
Yeah, that was Ezel, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
Ezel and Evangel, but regardless, it's with the way the score is going, the time left. Onside kick attempt, it's swallowed up at the 50, and that should do it here in UT Martin. Just a kneel down or two left with 45 left on the clock. Tennessee got it done. They held steadfast. Kentucky tried to make their comebacks and tried to drive down the field, but overall still a great weekend for all these teams and all these players, and a lot of great skills showcased here in UT Martin's Grand Stadium.
Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised. Like these kids are, I would say some of these 7th graders are ready for high school. Great facilities. I grew up going to UT Martin, but like I hadn't been since the renovation. I'm pleasantly surprised with how well kept up this place is, and how nice the stadium is, and I'm hoping we get to do more events here.
Yeah. I know they rotate between venues as it's a kneel down, a little bit of shoving back and forth there, but nothing too extracurricular. And one more snap should do it. Just want to make sure we give a shout out to all the tremendous crew on the broadcast side. Been on site here since about 9 in the morning, even earlier, into all 3 of the games here. To Allison for joining you here, Blake, as well as Eli and James, and most of us got within to Union City last night in preparation for all of it, as Kentucky is going to use their final timeout, which 36 seconds left, I guess maybe to get one more snap with some of the players who hadn't gone in otherwise, try to rotate some other folks into the game. But tremendous salute to all of our crew members, and get to have the fun part started, packing everything up, and getting everything situated before we hit the road, getting back to our respective parts here in Tennessee, because none of us live on site here in Martin. And one more victory formation. That should do it. All the players and teams starting to line up in the middle. And they'll start to head for one of the greater traditions in high school football, the handshake line on the 50. Well, Tennessee goes 3-0, a clean sweep at home in the northwest side of the Volunteer State. Coach gets the dunk of, can't tell if that's Gatorade or water, gets the dunk of the Gatorade container down there, and that wraps us up here for this Future Stars competition. For our producer, Eli Cornett, as well as for Blake Biggs, James Shannon, Allison on camera, all the hardworking men and women that make this run so smoothly, I'm Spencer Topset saying so long from Martin. Tennessee goes 3-0 in this 2025 edition of the Future